Greetings everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to Starlight Shores. In the last time around, unfortunately, we've had a bit of an argument. And Erika decided to put out the fire because she needs to go home. Maybe you're right. A walk could clear my head. That's the spirit. Come on, let's go. I nod and follow Lena's lead. As we make our way down the shoreline, Lena stops and turns to me with a playful smile. Let's sit and watch the stars for a while. She kneels down and pats the sand beside her. Come on. I smile and oblige her. Okay. Ah, that's a happy portrait in sight right there. Thanks for staying with me. I could have done to turn down another chance to hang out with you. I'm that interesting? I guess so. What? No witty response? I'm a little tired, sorry. It has been quite the night. Yeah, no kidding. Not bored at any kind of pace, but I feel like I'm only half there. I can't stop thinking about Theo. Ah, oh. Not to say that I don't like spending time with you. It's hard to get my mind off things, that's all. Maybe I could tell you a story. A story, you say? Yeah, Theo mentioned that you like stories. Usually I'm the one who writes them. That's why you're studying journalism? Sort of. What else did Theo say? I didn't get any details. She just said that you're a good storyteller. How did it come up? That's a good question. You like hearing that Theo talks about you, don't you? I exhaled quickly in amazement. Amusement. She caught me on that one. So you admit it? I roll my eyes dramatically and wait for her to continue. We were in English class at the time, working on a creative writing project. Any chance she has to talk about you, she takes. I guess that's why I feel like I already know you. So getting back to my story, I've got a quick question for you. A lot of questions tonight. Do you like camping? I've done my fair share of it. I'll tell you a camping story then. Alright, let's hear it. Okay. When I was growing up, I attended a youth club at my local church. My parents were big members of the community. We attended every Sunday and my parents were always at fundraisers and events. We had our own version of scouts for the youth group, but it was unisex and parents were more involved. That sounds a lot more fun than my local church. It was great. I learned useful survival skills on our outings. Anyway, when I was 17, the group planned a summer trip. Even though I love camping, I didn't want to go to Cascade Ridge. Isn't that a national park? Yep, it's one you're thinking of. I was apprehensive about going, and I fought with my parents over it. I begged to stay at a friend's house instead, but they insisted I go along. It was a week-long trip and very physically intensive, so only the oldest of us were allowed to go. They called it our graduation hike because most of us were finishing high school. The parents hired a guide to help us plan a route to several natural landmarks and make sure we stayed safe. I guess the guide was religious too. He gave us some spiel about how he found his connection to God through his work at the park. It was motivational, but I was still upset about being forced to give up a week of my summer. Ah. About 3 days into the trip, I was bruised up and annoyed. It felt like every peak and river we came across had mashed into one exhausted memory. Nothing felt special, and I hardly took any pictures. My chest ached when I thought of going home, but I kept my blank together because I was embarrassed by how badly I missed my own bedroom. The group wanted to go see this cavern, but I hate caves. Plus, it was a 6-hour road trip, so I asked if I could just stay at the campsite instead. They agreed that it would be fine, so I pitched my tent and got out a good book. About 3 hours into their trip, this freak storm hit. We had no warning, not one mention of it from the weather reports. The group texted me to explain that they'd been taking shelter at the caves for a while. The guide told me to stay put and wait out the storm, but I don't think he expected it to be so violent. Maybe it was the feeling of being alone or the fact that I never wanted to be there in the first place. or an amalgamation of both, but I curled up in my sleeping bag and I sobbed the entire time. I felt like I was losing my mind. The wind and the rain, not to mention the lightning. It was terrifying. I hate lightning too. When I was curled up in my sleeping bag, I pulled the covers right over my head and stayed under for as long as I could stand. It was like I was a kid again, hiding under my blankets from a monster. The air was impossible to breathe, so I'd occasionally come up to gasp for a moment. The way the wind clawed at the sides of the tent, it felt like someone was trying to drag me away. It thrashed through the trees and made this horrible sound, like screaming. I was certain one of them would snap and crush me. In times like that, some people might talk to God, but I wandered through my mind and tried to distract myself. I don't know how I got there, but I started thinking about my first imaginary friend. Wow. Funny enough, her name was Thea. Not Theo. Thea? Yeah, I'm not kidding. I always imagined her as a forest spirit, a girl that was part of the trees. Probably because of all the fantasy books I read as a kid. It's weird to admit, but I talked to her when I was hiding in my sleeping bag. Wouldn't it be strange if your parents knew that you kept fantasy books, because aren't religious people against any kind of fantastical scenarios? Or maybe I'm just digging too deep into it. I asked her to help me make it through the storm and keep me safe. It was a sort of prayer, I guess, just not to God. Eventually the storm weakened and I fell asleep in my tent. When I woke up, I unzipped the flap and looked outside. Around my tent was a perfect circle of small rocks and pebbles. Whoa, what? It was like a circle of protection. That day, I started believing in signs. Something in the forest left the stone circle for me. I don't like to imagine what it was keeping out. I feel chills travel down my neck and run across my forearms. So, did you like my story? Is it true? No. I feel my clenched jaw relax slightly. It's my nowhere story that I'm working on. Nowhere stories are a popular section on a familiar website. It's where users tell first-person accounts of scary stories. Even though they're all fictional, they're treated as real accounts for immersion. You got my heart racing, that's for sure. That's what makes a great story. It immerses you within the environment, but also the emotions that you're pulling while saying that story. I thought you were trying to take my mind off the things. You seemed pretty focused on my hiking story. You had me freaked out for a minute there. It wasn't entirely fictional, you know. The best scary stories are rooted in reality. What parts were true? I went on that road trip and I did get stuck in a storm on my own. The stones were a little fiction I sprinkled in to give the ending some flair. Anyway, let's move on. Now that you sufficiently spooked, wanna come cuddle me? Is she in on me? That's how you make a move? Hey, scary movies are a classic way to get a girl close to you. Cuddled up, nice and warm. It's the cold season. I'm not a girl. You can't blame me for trying. I snort a laugh despite my attempt to fight it back. Lena grins at me with a spark of confidence glimmering in her eyes. I was worried you wouldn't like it. You shouldn't worry. That was a grand story. Thanks. I'm guessing it's about your fear of storms. Yeah, I tried to pick a relatable topic. I was scared of storms as a kid. I can't imagine being alone during one, especially out in the woods. It wasn't fun. I dream about it from time to time. Like nightmares? Not exactly. They're more like anxiety dreams. I wake up sweating or crying, but once they're over I end up forgetting most of the dream. That's gotta be tough to deal with. Yep. It doesn't bug me. I fall asleep because I never expect those dreams. They catch me by surprise every few months. So, what scares you? Losing friends, I guess. It's on my mind enough to create anxiety. I see that Theo is still on your mind. How so? You're afraid that you won't see her again. I don't want to lose her. I wish I could help. It's not your problem. Don't worry about it. Aren't we friends now? Well, yeah. I guess so. Then your problems matter to me. Maybe I could talk to Theo for you, when things have settled down, obviously. I appreciate the offer, but I'd rather handle it my way. I understand. I like to handle things on my own too. Theo was right, we're pretty alike. You think? I can see similarities between us. Same here. We laugh together nervously. There's one thing that sticks out the most. Oh? We're both awkward and say the wrong thing without thinking. Yep, guilty as charged. Wow. Could I risk asking a weird question? I sense the timidity in her voice, but also the blush there too. I try my best to reply softly. Sure, don't get worried. No judgment, I promise. Okay. I want to hook up. What? She grins as I wear my surprise on my face. Are you messing with me? Lena winks at me playfully. No, sir. I'm not kidding around. I rack my brain for a response, but I come up blank. You can say you're not attracted to me. I won't be upset. That's not it. This is our first day being acquainted together, and this is what we're being dealt with. Even if you're entirely alike, you still haven't spent months together. Forming a relationship together, slowly, methodically, romantically. You caught me off guard there. Sorry. Is that also another story? And? Don't get me wrong, Lena. I find you attractive. I just don't get where this is coming from. We hardly know each other. We just met. You're right. Forget it. No, wait, I want to talk this through. Why are you interested in me? I want to feel wanted, Will. No one has shown interest in me for a long time. I'm not going to get into it, but I've been sort of a brick wall. Opening up to anyone has been off limits for a while, aside from Theo. I needed time to myself, but... I'm not going to say that for... In case of people angle it the wrong way. Lena? She wipes the tears away and continues. Please, let me explain. I felt isolated lately. I want to try dating, but there's so much that's holding me back. School, family drama, not to mention working. I'm not ready to date, but I'm craving romance despite that. That's why I didn't hold back when Erika kissed me earlier. It made me realize how much I've missed being physically intimate. There's chemistry between us, Will. I figured I'd be upfront and ask. Now I feel like an idiot. It's not a crime to feel lonely, Lena. So there's a chance that you would? God, this is a tough decision. Because I know I said in one of my previous episodes that I would go into this knowing that I would select the choices that I would make if I was put in this scenario. Yes. Lena, if we're going to do this, we need to be safe. We can talk about that. Why later? I have a request first. Okay then. Would you kiss me? I felt my heart fluttering in my chest, threatening to skip a beat. I can do that. Ah. As I reach out to pull her closer, Lena shifts towards me magnetically. Before I have time to think, oh gosh. Right. That's beautiful. And also with the night sky, the sea, the sand. The little bit of rock that is by the sand, on top of the sand, middle left, the moon itself being beautiful. Oh yeah, then there's these two in front of us as well. I forgot about that. No, I think my whole world is. As our lips lock, Lena presses her weight against me. We part for a moment to catch our breath. This is my chance to say it. Lena? I'm glad I stayed with you. She chuckles softly and presses her lips to my cheek. I am too. Now, quit talking. Oh gosh. Talking can wait. For now, she's mine. Wow. That is a little bit of a sad ending in itself, really. Because even though it looks very romantic, it still doesn't feel... still doesn't feel very happy, because it was under both peer pressure circumstances by the events of... oh god, what was her name? Erika. But also from her years of friendship with other people. Like, this has been like a journey for her, just to be with us as a group of people, around Theo, around Alec, around Erika, around Will. And then there's herself as well. Even though she was very, very open to us, she is still a very, very enclosed character. And only chose... Ah, that's wonderful. What's this? I feel like that would be some sort of best ending, where those two are still together with us, and the campfire is not even lit out. So, just as a... just to see what's going to happen, we're going to select no. Lena, it's not that I don't appreciate the offer. You're beautiful and I'm attracted to you physically, but I love Theo. Wow. I knew it. You did? It's hard not to fall in love with her, isn't it? The way she lights up when she has a camera in her hands, or how she fiddles with her curls when she's nervous. I found myself making a list of the things I love about her, and the parts that drive me crazy. It brought me to a conclusion. Lena trails off, leaving her thoughts unfinished. I nudge her gently, grabbing her attention. Don't leave me hanging. I realise that Theo's not perfect, but she's everything I've ever wanted. So what's holding you back? I could ask you the same question, yep. Oh god, this is not going to be a love triangle, is it? The flood of excuses rushes through my mind in an instant. She's my best friend, I don't want her to become an ex. She knows me too well, it would be impossible to build a romance. What if she doesn't feel the same way? We're going different directions in life. Why would we put ourselves through the pain of a breakup? For the first time, none of my excuses feel real. I guess that's what they always were. Excuses. I decided to give Lena an honest answer. I kept putting it off and never seized the moment. I'll regret that for a long time. I am headed down the same path. I don't want to ruin a good friendship. Relationships are messy and they don't always last. This friendship is one that I want forever. Putting the weight of a relationship on it could change things. I get that. That's one of the reasons I held back. It ended up being a stupid excuse, not a good reason. Now I have to live with that decision. And you're not going to try and persuade me to date her? The pain I'm in is obvious enough. If you want that for yourself, have at it. Even when I hear you say that, I still have reservations about my feelings for her. We're both hopeless. Not both of us, just me. Okay, I wrap my arm around Lena and pull her closer. How's this for persuasion? You have a real shot with Theo. Don't give up on your feelings for her. If you're upfront about why you're holding back, I think Theo would surprise you. It's okay to tell her what you're thinking. You can trust her. Maybe you're right, but for now, I'll just wish on the stars. That's a start. Well, I hope we'll see each other again. So I hope we'll see each other again. I read it as like, will I hope to see each other again? As in like, will as in a word rather than a name. I hope so too. This wasn't the night I expected, but I'm glad that I'm here. I heard that Lena reached out to Theo. They deserve a chance to be happy. And that's another ending. Whether you call it a good ending or a bad ending, or just an ending in itself. Though it's still very beautiful in its own way. Still doesn't feel quite happy though. Like, the first ending was minorly more positive, but it was still under negative influences that causes these two characters to then be together. Like, both of them don't have a particularly confident stance in themselves, which is, for character building, a very good thing to have weaknesses, flaws. It shows that they're human and not one-sided. You know, I've got this grand house, I've got all this money, I've got this wonderful Bugatti Zonda. Just, nah. I love characters which are flawed, because it shows that we can relate to them, because we ourselves as people are flawed. So it creates similarities. So, next time we have... I'm going to go to bed actually. I'm sorry. Not tonight. I understand. Lena begins to gather up her things and turns back to face me. You know, I genuinely hope that we could spend more time together tonight. It's too bad that we missed out. Lena takes off ahead of me, quickly disappearing into the shadows. I don't follow her. I look skyward and take in the stars once more before leaving. All alone now. Happy birthday to me. Was it really Will's birthday there? Okay, that definitely is the worst outcome so far. There was no conclusions there. It definitely is a one-day visual novel, as in, it only has one day to it. There's no sunrises, there's no sunsets, there's no actual sleep time. It's just, that's it. There is that. So I'm thinking there could be a better outcome for Lena. I'm willing to bet that she wouldn't be under this kind of turmoil while asking Will for his affection towards her, and also vice versa when it comes to the moment. But even the background music is very morbid in its own way. Whoa, spooky Halloween. Thank you for playing. Thank you as well. Been through these credits 3 times now. Okay, it keeps showcasing us what we would call the happiest ending together, you know, just us 3. Other options would be to follow after her. So would this... No, that would... We'll have to skip this. And then when it comes down to it... not skipping. Stop Theo. Theo, please don't go. I'll call out after her, but she doesn't turn back. I don't think she's coming back. Come on, let's get our mind off this stuff. Okay, so we're back in this scenario. I don't think that would create much change in the story. Could do, although I'm not willing to bet that. So I'm just going to wince through these 2 different choices and then come back to you guys. No changes with those stories, exactly for the same dialogue, so if we're going to create a big enough difference in the game, it's got to be somewhere else in the past. What about truth? I'll go with truth. Please don't think I'm weird. I'm not usually forward like this, but I figure we're probably not going to see each other again. Ah, Lena? At least not for a while. Where are you going with this? Have you and Theo ever hooked up? Why would you ask that? Oh, come on, there's something there. You 2 are close. We're just friends. Yeah, and just friends have been known to do those sorts of things. Wink, wink. No, it's not like that. Theo and I haven't even I stopped myself, realizing that I'm technically wrong. You two kissed? Not really. When I moved away, Theo gave me a kiss on the cheek, that's all. That's all? That's adorable. Why are you asking about this? I wanted to make sure that I'm not stepping on any toes. Is Lena checking if I have feelings for Theo? The realization crushes over me like a tidal wave. She likes Theo? I do my best to ask politely, not wanting to prod for details. You mean... I give Lena a questioning stare, and she nods carefully. It's not like I'm planning anything. Hell, I'll probably never get the guts to say it. But you're in the loop now, so keep it to yourself. I smile as reassuringly as I can manage. I've got you. Don't worry. Thanks. It's appreciated. You're a sweet guy. Just take a shot if you've been wanting to. An obnoxiously loud giggle snaps away our attention. Oh great, it's the lousy lot again. I thought it was just us two, but then again Erika just came back. Selecting no after truth rather than dare has a few changes. It doesn't feel right. Lena, you don't have feelings for me. You want Theo. I don't know if she likes me in that kind of way. Neither do I. Even if she was interested, don't you think she would have said it by now? I'm not sure. Theo's not the most straightforward person. True. Do you love her? I think so. Do you? Whoa, we get ourselves some more choices here. Yes. Yes, I love her too. We're both hopeless, aren't we? In the worst kind of way. Lena chuckles subtly. I won't get in your way. You should pursue Theo. I know she has feelings for you. You know, I would have taken off after her if you said that about 6 hours ago. And now, I can see that she's met a better match. Well, I have a feeling that we're going to be friends for a long time. I smile and nod. I think so too. This wasn't what I expected, but I'm glad that I'm here. Ah, a different variation to that, but I'm not so sure. Would that be considered a happier outcome? Either way, I'm very glad of it. Okay, so there's also... No. No, not in that way. I've had a crush on her since I was... Okay. If something was going to happen between us, it would have started already. It would have already, sorry. I don't know. Theo isn't very direct. I'm certain she likes you, and I bet that she has feelings for you. Where does that leave us? I can't help but laugh to myself. In a weird place. In between a rock and hard place. Lena loses her seriousness and laughs along with me. It's been a weird night. I definitely don't see myself talking to anyone about Theo ever. Especially not her childhood crush. Can I give you some advice, seeing as I've also had feelings for Theo? I'd be lying if I said I'm not curious. Go ahead, I'm listening. What's with that face? What's with the face? Do you think I'm about to tell you bad news? I'm trying to prepare myself for the inevitable truth. What do you think that is? That I'm not her type, even if she does have feelings for me. That's not where I was going at all. I'm going to say the opposite, actually. From what I've seen and heard, I think you two are perfect for each other. Ah, don't get my hopes up like that. Why shouldn't I? But because she might not be interested. You gotta have a shot. Plus, good friends don't always make good couples. The whole dynamic shifts. I can't risk it. I'd never be brave enough to say anything anyway. My jaws aches as it tightens. Lena, it's not about bravery. It's about if you're willing to spend your life watching her love someone else. You had to phrase it like that, didn't you? Well, do we want to sugarcoat it or not, darling? Was it wrong of me to say? No. Ah, it's just a tough perspective to imagine. It hurts to picture. I know. But it's important to recognize the possibility of losing her in other ways. Sit with that emotion and feel it. If you love Theo, give that love a chance. Give her a chance to love you back. And if she turns me away, then watching her love another won't make your heart crumble. You'll know you couldn't have taken their place. Lena wipes the tears away with her sleeve. Okay, I'm convinced. I'll talk to her after this weekend is over. I reach up to wrap my arm around Lena. I hope you two will be happy together. Fingers crossed. Lena snuggles closer and rests her head against my shoulder. Well, I have a feeling we're going to be friends for a long time. Ah, I think so too. This wasn't than I expected, but I'm glad that I'm here. Theo deserves to love someone like Lena. I know they'll be happy together. I can feel it in my heart. More changes are needed if we're going to create a major change within the story. What about if we just don't say anything to him? I ignore Alec's childish bragging. He can be an idiot on his own. He doesn't need a cheering squad. I know Alec's moods. He's not going to listen to any advice I give anyways. What, you're giving me the silent treatment? There's nothing left to say besides maybe calling him a moron. That wouldn't do me any favours. To answer him, I silently unlock my phone and begin to scroll mindlessly. Alex mumbles to himself before turning away to unlock his phone. The distinctive whoosh of a text being sent rings out from his side of a bonfire. A few moments later, another whoosh and another. What the hell? I can't help but be curious. What's wrong? Eric is ignoring my text about none of your business. That's enough info for me. Alec, okay, we've headed to common grounds. Let's go with a major change this time. Gather firewood with Theo. Theo, do you want to gather firewood with me? Sure, let's go. Alright. Theo stays by my side as we walk along the shoreline. The campfire slowly fades into the distance. Let's see what goes along this time around, folks. I know that Seaside has almost no light pollution, but this is incredible. Wow, it's beautiful out here. I'm glad you asked me to come with you. Well, being out here reminds me of camping when we were kids. My parents always sent us out to find firewood. I remember. You walked through poison ivy that one year. I think we were 12 years old. It burns like hell. I'll never make that mistake again. I told you not to walk through it. We were having a contest. I thought you were trying to keep all the sticks for yourself. You should have listened. I know, but I did technically win. Because I dropped all of mine to get your parents. That's still a win in my book. Whatever. You win, and I have my peace. I hate it when you say that. It's like an escape out of any argument. I feel like I've lost when you blurt that out. That's how it's meant to work. Silly. Theo stops to gather a log from the nearby tree line. Do you need a hand with that? No, I've got it. You're going to lose the contest. Theo's right, I've only managed to find a handful of kindling sticks. I'll find a huge piece of driftwood and drag it all the way back if that's what it takes to win. Driftwood? Theo steps close and examines the sticks I've collected. Oh no, Will. You can't burn driftwood. What? Yes, I can. You're just saying that to make me lose this time. No, I'm serious. Theo points toward the tree line. I've been gathering wood from the bush because driftwood is toxic. There's too much salt in it even if it's dried out. It makes the fire glow blue, but the fumes are dangerous. Oh sheesh, I have no idea. I'm sorry, that's my bad. No, don't worry. It's my fault for not buying more wood at a gas station. They were charging way too much, so I cheaped out and gathered as much as I could before sunset. We probably won't find enough to keep a fire going. Interesting. Alec wasted the wood. I've seen Alec constantly adding wood to the fire. He's been too generous with it. We don't need a huge bonfire. We can let it burn a little lower. It will last us the night, don't worry. Are you sure? If we start to run out, I'll come back and find more. I don't want anyone to get cold. Freezing out here would ruin their night. I could go back to the cottage and find blankets. That could work. I'm sorry. I'm not helpless at problem solving. You don't need to figure this stuff out for me. I've just... never mind. Come on, Theo, you can be upfront with me. I'm worried about Alec and Erika. Erika seemed upset with Alec for the sweater there. I feel like she's accusing Alec for liking me. Alec is many things, but he's not a cheater. Besides, if he liked you, he would have made a move years ago. I swear he rotates through new girlfriends every month. You don't think I know that? It's Erika that worries me. She's the one making weird accusations. If Alec is constantly avoiding commitment, she's probably aware that he might leave when things become serious between them. I don't want to get dragged into their relationship issues. You could say that you're in a relationship if Erika starts bugging you. As if anyone would believe me. Did you see how nervous I was to take my sweater off? No one would believe that I'm dating right now. Why is that? Nobody would want to date someone like that. Theo? I would. That's not... I would. Theo, don't say that. I would date someone like you. You... would? You're not a monster. Give your good genes some credit. Take a serious look at yourself. You're smart, kind, and pretty. You look exactly like your mother, and she's always been beautiful. I do think that my mom is pretty. Theo, you're practically her twin, just younger. Thanks for saying that. Maybe I am worried about Erika too much. I don't want to cause any problems. You're not the cause. Erika seems to thrive on conflict. Any baseless accusations she comes up with aren't on you. I know. I just want to have a nice night. We will. I don't care what Erika does. I'm having fun with you no matter what. So, I shouldn't worry about Erika? More like disregard her drama. I can give that a try. Thanks for talking with me. I've missed our walks. It's been a while, hasn't it? Almost a year now. We need to go home and visit our families together sometime. Just tell me when and I'll go with you. Theo used to walk around town with me at night, mostly during the summer when the weather was nice. We'd walk up and down the main street of our hometown and talk for hours. Maybe we should go back. If we stay out too long, the fire will go out. I'll follow your lead. Ah. It's a short story, a short visual novel, but it's very powerful in its own ways. Hey guys! I crouched down to place a log on the fire. I think we've found enough to keep this going for a while. Theo adds the wood she gathered to the pile. That's more than enough for the rest of the night. Are you sure? Worst case scenario, I can find more. How nice of you to volunteer after calling not it earlier. Anytime. How was your romantic evening stroll? Theo tenses up while I stay silent, quietly deciding to ignore Erika's fishing for drama. Are we still playing games? I want to. Me too. Sure, I could play. Theo and I get drinks and settle in with the group. And we come on common ground once again. Emotional insecurity. You guys might not know this, but alcoholism and addiction run in my family. Well, that's tough. Are you sure you want to talk about this? I'm fine, don't worry. Anyway, he has a distinct way of hiding it, so most of his friends have no idea. You'll never see him with a bottle or a can. He always pours his drinks into a glass. I'm still not sure where he stashes his empties. He doesn't leave them lying around. Mom has clearly known about it for a while. But if she's ever said anything to him, I wasn't part of the conversation. I kind of empathise with that as well. Neither of my parents have alcohol issues, but it's just the fact that if there's any kind of serious conversations, they both like to silenced me out from the conversation, which is not what family is supposed to be. I remember the first time I realized that he was drunk. I must have been around 7 years old. Every night when he came home, he'd sit down for dinner and talk to me about school or whatnot. But once he made his way to the armchair and the TV was on, our conversations would change. He'd start talking with his hands, waving all over the place and struggling to find his words. I was sitting on the floor while the news was blaring, and he was rambling on about politics. In that moment, it just clicked. My brain took this snapshot, I guess. I saw the drink on the armrest and how he never let it go. There was a sort of desperation in the way he held that glass, like he was clinging to it. I put things together so instantly. I felt trapped in place, even though my heart was racing and my stomach twisted with the realization. I didn't move a muscle. I see it right now, as if there's always been a part of me on that living room floor. And Erika just went. I can feel the itch of the carpet on the back of my legs. I can hear the subtle tick of his wristwatch even as the news drones on. Even the smell of Mother's leftover lasagna. People don't give kids enough credit. They're smarter than parents think. They notice things. I don't want to be like him. Who am I even talking to at this point? I try to shift my gaze from the flames, but I'm frozen in place. All I can see is that moment with him. Oh, they haven't disappeared, but it's just the fact that he has trapped himself in this immersion right now. His heavy gaze won't let me leave the room. Soft fingers press into my shoulder, pulling me back to reality. Will, it's okay, Theo. I know that you knew about his problems. No, it's not that. I'm sorry that I didn't see how it was hurting you. I should have been there for you. Don't apologize. I kept it to myself. Frankly, I don't know why it bothers me. It's not like he was abusive or ever raised his voice. He's a happy drunk. I just don't know why he needs it to be happy. That's not for you to worry about or resolve. My guess is he started drinking before you were born. You said it runs in the family, right? Mm-hmm. His dad? No, his mom. I think my grandfather used to drink, but he quit before they had kids. He might not even know that there's a way to be happy without it. That's not on you. He doesn't drink because of you. I either think that you're blaming yourself. He didn't want kids. He said it himself. He said that to you? He didn't know that I was sitting in the next room. He was complaining about it to her. That was one of the only times I heard him yelling. Their arguments were usually quieter. I feel sick to my stomach any time I drink beer. He always smelled like it when I hugged him after he got home. I didn't mean to press you earlier. I had no clue. I'm sorry, man. It's not a big deal. I've got coolers for tonight. I'm fine. Are you sure? This is good for me. I don't need to feel anxious about alcohol when I'm around it. It's okay to be aware of your family's history with it, but don't let that create unnecessary anxiety. You can drink at a party with your friends. It doesn't make you an alcoholic. Everything in moderation. Erika. You're doing great, don't worry. Why are you so cheery? This is why I want to play games. We're finally getting to know the real Will. These games can bring us together as friends. She's got a good point. I guess I didn't think of it like that, but I still feel terrible. This was way too personal to ask. I'm sorry, Will. I would have done a shot if I didn't want to share that with you. Oh, okay. I guess it's my turn now. Same die leg. We'll pick Theo this time. I picked Theo. But I just picked you. There's no rules against me choosing you afterwards. He's right. I'm trying to give you a hard time. Don't make me ask a mean question. You won't. You won't. You don't. What gives? What on earth gives, huh? What would you change about your life? Where'd you take your... Actually, we'll do that one. If there was one aspect of your life that you could change, what would it be? That's a simple one. I'd have you attending the same college as me. Oh, you're cute. Is it cute that I miss my best friend? Well, no. Do you want to elaborate? Oh, shut up now. Go, Theo. Theo 1, Alec 0. Anyway, that's my answer. Mine would have been the same. Life isn't as fun without you. Plus, I could have met Lena sooner. You could have been missing out. So, who are you picking, Theo? You. Hey, no fair. I was asking an innocent question. So, truth or dare? Truth. It seems like the theme right now. Okay. Lena, who do you find most attractive here? Well, I guess. Me? Thanks, I guess. I have a thing for dark hair and blue eyes, that's all. Great, I've got hazel eyes. Don't go reading into it. Got it. I'm a bit offended that I didn't make the pick. We kissed. Sorry, I think I can cheer you up though. I'm going to pick Erika. Same ground again. And then because we picked Theo earlier, we're still not with Theo. Huh. All of that and... Okay, so... What would happen if... Could we actually change this outcome? Are we always going to get Lena as the last character that we are with before the ending comes? I feel like there's going to be changes in the beginning of the game that would alter the outcomes that we're having right now. Let her go. I say nothing as Theo disappears into the night. There's no skip option. You're not going after her? No, she wants to be left alone. Huh, that's really bizarre. Hold on. Stop, Theo. Theo, please don't go. Oh, as I call after her, Theo freezes mid-step. What do you want? We still have a meteor shower to get to. Not tonight, Will. Please don't let it end like this. The desperation of my wavering voice is obvious. There's no point in trying to hide it. Walking with you earlier, it was nice. I've missed spending time with you. I don't want you to go yet. The night's not over. Maybe we could watch the stars together. I don't know. It's been a long night. You said you wanted to make a wish. Let's go make one together. Please, Theo. Do it for me. It's my birthday weekend, remember? Theo pauses for a moment, carefully considering my request. Alright. I contain the urge to bounce up and down a celebration as Theo comes back with me. I'm sorry, Lena. I shouldn't have stormed off before you had a chance to finish your sentence. Quit worrying about everyone else. You two have shooting stars to look for. You're coming with us, right? Nope. Why not? I have a reservation with that rainfall shower. I need to relax and sober up before I hit the hay. Okay, so the shower. Just a regular shower, not the meteor shower. Don't expect any hot water when you get back. So yourself, you'll be missing out. I'm sure I'll survive. I'll catch up with you guys in the morning. Ah. Well, what's up? I don't want to waste another minute. Let's go. I nod and return to her smile. Lead the way. I follow Theo along the shoreline, staying close by her side. We wander for a time before settling near the shore. I wait for Theo to take a seat, but she stays standing. Smiling. Thanks for convincing me to stay. I don't want you to miss out. I know you've been wanting to stargaze all night. I have. Now that we're here, I'm nervous. Is there something wrong? I've been wanting to make my wish, but I can't seem to get the timing right. I just noticed her little moon hair ornament. That's so cute. I haven't seen any shooting stars that light up the sky. The kind of star you'd make an important wish on. What's your wish? You know I can't tell you. I'll tell you about my wish. Do it at your own risk. I'm going to wish that you'll forgive me. Forgive you? For being so dumb. Not just for today when I forgot that iced tea. I was an idiot for not calling you. It's my fault too, you know. We both avoided reconnecting. Well, maybe it was dumb for you to stop calling too. Ah, you're right, it was. Our friendship isn't something disposable. I never intended to fall out of touch, but I was taking you for granted. I figured I could forever... I reckon I could forget... I figured I could go forever without calling you, and things would fall back into place effortlessly. That doesn't happen with friendships. But that's not fair. I should have maintained our friendship, and I will from now on. You're an important person in my life, Theo. I don't want this weekend to end. I don't want you to go. It sounds like we're afraid of the same thing. It's embarrassing to admit, but I was scared to call you last week. I had to make up a reason to call before your birthday. I missed you so badly. You know, I didn't win a giveaway, right? How could... What do you mean? How are we here? There was no radio contacts or FriendX page. I saw it advertised online and I rented it for a weekend with my savings. Holy Christ, that seems like that's a huge revelation there. It seemed like a good excuse to spend a weekend together, especially so close to your birthday. So that's what Lena meant when she said that Theo picked the perfect place. That was a slip-up. Lena knows she paid for this? Yes. Theo. I knew you'd react badly. I probably shouldn't have said anything. No, I appreciate your honesty. I'm just a little shocked, and I'm not sure what to say. Maybe that's okay. I prefer you not to say anything, so I won't have to feel even more guilty. Guilty? Honestly, there's not much I wouldn't have done to see you again. Are you sure we shouldn't talk about this? It's out there now. That's all I wanted. I know I'm repeating myself when I say this. I missed you a lot. I missed you too. By the way, I meant to ask, are you okay with what happened? You're talking about Erika. Yes. I'm not going to get hung up on it. I hope she's alright. No offense. But I also hope she finds a better boyfriend. Oh dear. Or does Alec need to find a better girlfriend? One that can teach him some manners about people and give them some respect and some space. Or better yet, they could both use a break from dating to work on themselves. Nobody is perfect, I don't like to judge, but growing and learning without a partner could do them both some good. I'm thinking out loud. I hope that's okay. It's more than okay. I'm glad you trust me. I'm not pleased that Alec decided to drive home. He didn't drink much. I'm sure he wasn't impaired. I know he has those breathalyzers in his car. Still, it doesn't sit well with me. As much as I'm relieved that they're gone, I would have liked him to crash here with us. I get it. I've had enough of them for one night. I'll be grateful if it's over with. I'm happy that we're here, no matter how we got to this spot. That's more like the Theo I remember. Strong and focused on positivity. Not to say that Theo ignores her negative emotions or experiences. It's that she handles them with poise. You're a good person. You know that. That's easy for you to say. You're not in my head. Maybe I've imagined to trick you into thinking that. Well, you are bewitching. Wow. That was a terrible line. You're welcome. You know, There's nothing to forgive, right? Huh? You said your wish was that I'd forgive you. You've already got my forgiveness, so don't waste your wish on that. Now I've got to think of another one. Yep, get working on it. Any suggestions? Your wish should be a desire or hope that's close to your heart. Wish about something you believe could happen but feels too difficult to achieve on your own. We could all use a little magic in ourselves. What comes to mind sends my heart racing. It's now or never, Will. She's here and the moment is right. It's time to ask myself, do I love Theo? Am I going to take this chance? Am I? Are we going to take this chance? Yes. I've got one. I'm ready. Let's wait and watch. As I look towards the sky and wait for a passing star, my heart beats incessantly against my ribs. Theo? Yes? You... I can't hesitate this time. She deserves to know. I don't want to waste your time. You're my wish. I am? Yes. That's funny. Funny? I continue unsure what she means. Let me take you out on a proper date. Please. We could go out and have a fun time together, away from friends and dramatics. Are you sure about that? I doubt Alec would follow me around a second time. You know what I meant. Why wouldn't I be sure about this wish? Why not someone closer to your campus, or prettier, or smarter? Theo. Just know, okay? You are prettier, you are smarter than all of the girls on my campus. Regardless of distance, regardless of your geographical location, you are still there in our hearts. You are the shiniest of stars, the brightest of stars in the night sky. None of those imaginary dates matter. They don't measure up. Why? They're not you. Theo giggles to herself softly. What's so funny about my wish? It's funny because you were mine. From the moment this weekend started, you were my wish too. I wished for time together as much as I could get. Well, don't waste your wish then. What should I ask for instead? Anything you want. I'll take you up on that date if you consider my wish too. Wish away. Would you mind kissing me? Ah, I reach out to her reflexively. Theo steps forward and wraps her arms around me without a moment of hesitation. Ah, that's a beautiful scenery. A huge amount of night sky, a pleasant amount of sea, the little bit of environment to the middle, right? Oh, okay, it's really funny that on the Lena ending, it's on the left, but with Theo, it's on the right. Why is that? I just noticed that just now. Why is that the perspective that they've chosen for? I have a little bit of sad. But it's mainly the night sky that makes it so romantic. I don't know where I'm going to end up in life, but it'll always be beside Theo. She was the missing piece. And there's the wishing star as well. Ah, we're blessed with the wishing star. Ah. Starlight Shores. I think there are other endings that we can acquire, such as not granting our wish. No. I take a moment to think on my wish before turning to Theo. I'm rooting for a friend of mine. I think I'll make a wish for them. Rooting for a friend? Sorry, I don't follow. They have eyes for someone I know pretty well, and I think they're a great match. It doesn't take long to catch on. Who is it? Don't you know? I might have an idea, and I'm not sure. I don't like risking friendships. But you are attracted to her, right? It's hard not to be. She's a wonderful person, but I'm afraid, Will. What if we're not as compatible as we thought? That could change things. I can't lose her. Theo's breath trembles as she exhales. Ah, are those tears? Lena is. She's like a warm sunrise after a frost. That comfort and kindness. I don't know how I ever managed without it. She's addictive, and I don't want to go without. We're there for each other through any kind of pain or fear. I'm never afraid to rely on her for anything. We're meant to be close. In what way, though, I don't know. Theo turns away, wiping her tears with her sleeve. I'm sorry. You don't need to feel my anxiety too. It's enough for one person to handle. Don't apologize. I want to be here for you. I just wish I knew this sooner. How can I help her with this Lena situation? I don't think she realizes Lena is hesitating in a similar way. Whew. Let's see where we're going with this. Don't let fear stop you. Theo. Don't let fear get in the way of loving someone. Lena cares deeply for you. It was obvious from the moment I met her. When you take a step, she revolves around you. There's a magnetic connection. Even I can see that. If you put this off, you might never give yourself that chance to be together. It's okay to be afraid to make the first move, but I'm more afraid of what inaction will bring. If you wait too long, you and Lena will end up like us. You're still thinking about us? I regret the chances we didn't take. Who knows what our lives would be like if I'd had the guts to say what I felt. I guess we'll never know. That's why I want you to try with Lena. Don't risk not knowing. Take a leap of faith. I believe in you. You're a sweetheart. As she smiles at me, I can see a new spark in her eyes. I hope you find your own Lena. You are my Lena, Theo. I bite my cheek and swallow hard, try my best to fight breathing against the lump in my throat. I hope so too. I reach out and carefully take Theo's hand. As our fingers intertwine, I feel a subtle shaking. I'm sorry things didn't work out between us. I smile and look towards the stars. Don't be. As much as our connection with Lena makes my chest ache, I know they're meant to be. I hope that Theo and Lena will end up together. They deserve that kind of love. There we go. The other option. But what if we just said, yeah, the other option, I mean. Take your time. Theo, maybe you still need to figure out what you're feeling. Yeah, I want to wait. I'm nervous about what she'll say. It's normal to feel hesitant. Taking your time is fine, but don't avoid a bond that comes so naturally. You two fit together like puzzle pieces. When you've found the match in life, don't waste it. I regret wasting mine. Theo stiffens, immediately understanding what I said aloud. We've never addressed this head on. Well, you're okay with this? You don't need my permission. I'm not asking permission, I'm checking in on you. Your feelings matter to me. I'm happy for you, but it hurts. I regret my stupid choices, but I won't regret telling you this. Lena clearly loves you. I hope you don't waste that. I won't. I reach out and carefully take Theo's hands as our fingers intertwine. I feel such a shaking. I'm sorry things didn't work out between us. I smile and look towards the stars. Don't be. As much as our connection with Lena makes my heart ache, I know they're not meant to be. I hope that Theo and Lena will end up together. They deserve that kind of love. And let the credits roll in again. Different variations of these endings. I think the gallery is in chronological order from left to right and top to bottom. So this one here is, rather than picking Lena for a fire, we pick Theo for the fire by requesting marshmallows rather than hot dogs. But later on, we have this ending and this ending. But we have two other ones, which I'm concluding that they're a better version of these two. But also, there's this one down here, at the very bottom on its own, which could be something like this one? Not too sure. Got a few of them figured out. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we can actually conclude the story. And it could be a very short video in the next time, but I hopefully can put out an all endings video in the next time around, just to see of what requirements there are in order to get to each scenario. But thank you all so much for watching, guys, and we will see each other's in the next time of Starlight Shores. Have a lovely day and take care of yourselves.